What can I say about Multiversus that hasn't already been said? Oh, a lot actually. Every single facet about Multiversus has felt like a dream come true to me. From the roster, to the stage selection and fantastic music, to the incredible reception the game has already received in beta. I've been playing the game for a while, since the closed beta, and since my very first match, I knew this game would be something special. There's been a lot of chatter that this game could be the platformer fighter to truly rival Smash Bros. In longevity. And I agree! Not just because of its solid gameplay and expansive roster of memorable Warner-owned franchises, but in my opinion, this game's key to victory is its decision to center it around Cartoon Network. And out of all the brands Warner will incorporate into this game, Cartoon Network will be the one to carry it for years to come. Look, I've been running this channel for what, 6 years now? It's no secret I'm a Cartoon Network stan, and have been since birth. I came out of the womb making goofy yabba dabba do sound effects. As a lover of the channel and a lover of video games, getting a big budget fighter based off the many series associated with the channel felt like a pipe dream. There's been fighting games here and there that tried, like Billy and Mandy, Punch Time Explosion, and Battle Crashers, but none of them really landed for people. Don't get me wrong though, I put time into Billy and Mandy as a kid. I don't know if that game aged well, but it slapped in 06. With Multiversus, not only are the developers able to branch out beyond Cartoon Network, but between its studio, passionate team, and Fortnite-based model, it has the resources available to put out a polished product that can only get better and better. To really drive home the sentiment that this game is centered around and ruled by Cartoon Network, and more so, the Cartoon Network experience. Say for LeBron, Arya, and Raindog, every single one of these characters in the launch roster have been in numerous shows that aired on the channel. That's only 3 characters that aren't associated with Cartoon Network in any way. The art when you start up the game with all the fists flying features an abundance of characters from Warner's brands. Yet Jake and Garnet's fists feel the most prominent due to their scale and how close they are to the logo. Granted, Shaggy Sandwich and Wonder Woman's shield are the objects actually in center, but again, I think most people's association with those characters would stem from Cartoon Network with the plethora of Scooby-Doo iterations and DC shows like Justice League. Even with DC films increasing in popularity, between Teen Titans Go and DC Superhero Girls, alongside animated series like Batman Caped Crusader confirmed to be airing on Cartoon Network, younger players may recognize the shows those heroes are from before the films or even comics. Hell, when I was a kid, I obviously knew superheroes came from comic books because, like, pop culture, but I didn't read comics. I just watched the shows and played the browser games. You get the idea. If you grew up watching Cartoon Network pretty heavily, especially as a 90s or 2000s kid, then you'll get the most out of playing this game. You'll cherish all the Easter eggs, all the wonderful orchestrated renditions of Cartoon Network jams, and the amount of love poured into each and every character. Which is another reason why I wanted to make this video. I want to gush about the 4 current Cartoon Network reps: Finn, Jake, Steven, and Garnet, and how they're all secretly the best characters in the game. And by best, I probably mean cheap. Finn is a menace, and the internet hates him for it. He's basically the Multiversus equivalent of Link, mixed with some Minecraft Steve. But instead of building, you buy stuff. Look, there's Choose Goose. Also, the way he does the sword chop reminds me exactly of Steve's animations in Smash. I think this was a generally smart decision, as Link and Finn both have starter character energy. With Adventure Time being one of the most iconic Cartoon Network shows of all time, a lot of players are going to gravitate towards him. And although he mainly fights with his sword, I really adore how the game goes out of its way to incorporate his hand-to-hand combat and backpack. Side note, Finn's sword in this game is the Scarlet Sword, which he had at the very beginning of the series. Why is it called Scarlet if it's golden? Don't ask questions. I wonder if they wanted to use other swords, but due to brand consistency, they had to stick with the original, as apparently, a lot of choices behind a character's look and moveset was actually influenced by such a thing. I don't know, some food for thought. It would have been easy for the game to just copy Smash's homework completely, but they really tried to make Finn feel like Finn. I love getting the chance to aggressively high-five people, sending them to Kingdom Come, a move that in itself is taken directly from the show, when Finn and Jake fumble a high-five and get really into making a better one happen. As for the backpack, This is the move that is gonna get Finn nerfed. Swinging the backpack as he launches himself into the air, Finn's hitbox is out of control, making this move a little challenging to dodge. I never thought Finn would cause the internet to assemble and bully him again after the simp allegations, but at least this time, it's for him being too much of a Chad to take on. If Finn is Multiversus Link, Jake is without a doubt the game's Kirby. I mean, they don't really try to hide it at all. Jake, much like Finn, is also really good, to the point where it's kind of annoying. And this isn't me saying Jake needs to be nerfed or anything. This is me saying I need to get better at this game. Jake mains are actually chill as fuck, much like the Golden Boy himself. As expected, Jake retains his stretchy powers and his ability to shapeshift. Whether that be elongated Fist of Fury, Tony Hawk and all over your shit, charging at you as a horse, his Mr. Fantastic impression of an up special, or the straight up clone of Kirby's down special, where he shifts into miscellaneous objects that will crush every bone in your body. Also, he can eat people, like Kirby, but instead of an inhale, it's a vicious chomp. Jake is also a character that has one of the coolest features in the game, an alternative costume that's basically a whole new character. Emphasis on alternative, as you can unlock Cake from the Fiona and Cake universe, voiced by Roz Ryan and everything. I have yet to actually play as Cake, but her moveset is going to be exactly the same as Jake's, part of the course for alt skins. Surprising absolutely no one, Steven might be the character I have the most to say about. The complete 180 this iteration of the character took cannot be understated. When the game was first announced, his model looked super wonky, his moveset had goofy names like Friendship Bubblegum Blast, or something to that effect. And the nail in the coffin, he wouldn't be voiced by Zach Callison, and instead, Zach would be replaced by newcomer to the franchise, Daniel Devanere. And no disrespect to Daniel at all, but after 5 seasons, a movie, and an epilogue series with Zach, it is really hard to adjust to this voice.
You're under my protection!
I feel bad for the guy cause like, he's young and doing an impression of a voice that's just someone else pitching up their own voice, and he's trying to capture that kiddie energy Steven brought in the original series, but that in itself didn't always land in the show. It doesn't help that Steven's voice changed like 3 times in the OG series, all voiced by Zach, but he was going through puberty, so he had to adjust his take as the series went along. But luckily, the developers saw all the criticism headed Steven's way and decided to make some changes. His model was improved, his moveset was renamed, and in my opinion, they made him one of the most powerful characters in the game. You just need to get a good grip on him. Despite being a support class, Steven has a lot of moves that can pack a punch and frustrate the hell out of opponents. Not only is he the only character in the game with a smash-like shield, thanks to his bubble powers, not only is he the only character who can heal himself and his teammate while making a watermelon Steven to fight alongside you, but if you're strategic and fast enough for where you place your shields, you can ricochet a motherfucker right off the screen. Unfortunately, I'm not good enough at the game yet to even supply that footage, but you know how it'd go. Practice makes perfect. They did a great job of translating Steven's powers into the game. And what I find most interesting about Steven in his current state is that it's pretty evident we're not supposed to have little kid Steven, but the late teens time skip Steven from the movie and Steven Universe Future. The original leak for the game portrayed Steven wearing his time skip jacket in his artwork. The Steven icon you can unlock in the battle pass is his movie outfit, and most damning of all, I mean, just look at his moveset. Most of this stuff is pulled right from Change Your Mind, the movie, and Future. His bubble boxing glove, his hexagonal bubble burst, his diamond shield, none of this adds up to a 14-year-old Steven. What happened? Here's what I think. 1. Because of brand consistency, Steven and Garnet had to appear in their most recognizable states, aka how they appear on the branding for Steven Universe, not Steven Universe the movie or Steven Universe Future, which are considered different installments by Cartoon Network. So Steven may have initially intended to appear as he does in the movie or Future, with his 14-year-old self as an alternate costume, but they had to switch it, which takes me to point number 2. Skins in this game cost money. Not all of them, but most. Time skip Steven would make way more money as an alt than Kid Steven. odds are this Steven is coming, they're just saving him for a later date. I don't know if they'll get Zach back to voice that skin, but even if they keep Daniel, I think he'll do a way better job voicing a deeper sounding Steven by virtue of not having to imitate a higher pitched voice. Nevertheless, Steven's a great character and so far is one of the more underrated fighters, at least in 1v1. Since he is a support character, I could see him getting way more use out of people in 2v2 battles. Either way, I love him a ton and they absolutely nailed his moveset. Garnet can admittedly be a mixed bag, and that's mainly because she's slower than most of the speed demons in this game. And she isn't a tank, so she's more vulnerable than other bruisers, although these can be somewhat remedied with the right perks. That being said, I'm a Garnet main. She's my most leveled up character thus far. I've won the most matches with her, and part of me wonders if that's because if you watch a lot of Steven Universe, you kinda already anticipate what her moveset is. Her combos and specials are taken right from the show. You got the rocket gauntlets. The game somehow managed to include her electricity powers. She's able to power up by dancing. They did a really good job with her. I love how her visor is stylized to match the show. It wasn't like that in the closed beta. Her losing animation is based off of her meditation from Here Comes a Thought, complete with glowing butterflies, which is way better than what it was before. Her destabilizing in a horrific manner? Does Garnet need a buff? Sure, it wouldn't hurt. Do I think she's a bad character? I mean, I'm biased, but absolutely not. I don't think there's any bad characters in this game. Everyone is pretty good, and it gets me excited to see who else may get added into the game down the road. And on that note, I truly believe that out of all the future reveals, a lot of the standouts will be the ones from Cartoon Network. Hear me out, characters from brands like DC already have great fighting games like the Injustice series. So while it'll be cool to see Joker, Poison Ivy, or any of the Teen Titans to show up, they already have amazing fighting games that you can play right now. And don't get me wrong, it'll be cool to see some more Game of Thrones characters. Like personally, I'm holding out for the Night King. But what do you think is gonna hit more for people? The nigga from the Lego movie? Or Samurai Jack? Black Adam? Or Ben 10? If you look at wishlists for this game, you'll find Cartoon Network characters to be the common denominator, and more often than not, a good chunk of these lists. That's not a coincidence. I think there's just a certain level of charm behind controlling the cartoons you grew up with, having them retooled for a fighting game, retaining their unique art styles, and having them go up against characters you never thought would be throwing hands with them. That appeal of, this thing doesn't belong here, but somehow it works, and I'm glad it does. I also think that on a certain level, it's just more satisfying to see some of these characters kicking ass when the shows they're from either held back on the action or were more partial to slapstick than intense fight scenes, since most of these were comedies before anything else. I'm excited for Multiversus' future, and if you guys are down, maybe I'll even stream. Maybe this will be our pivot into bigger video game content, or maybe my takes will piss off enough people that I'll get hit with the "stick to the cartoons" comments. Let us know how you're enjoying Multiversus if you're playing the open beta. It has no set end date, so if you have a PlayStation, Xbox, or PC, get in on it. It's gonna be a blast. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It would mean a lot if you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at @OffSharkVox and at Roundtable Vids. Until next time, y'all, peace out.